what a sensation, gliding through actions in soft syncopation. Oh yeah, yeah, it's direct elimination.
Phil Andrews, welcome to Direct Elimination.
Thank you. I might be directly eliminated.
Not for 25 minutes at least.
Yeah, after 25 minutes, I do get directly eliminated.
Yeah.
If you think about a knack, it's actually quite early.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's true.
No,
it's like the round of 256.
Or
maybe not even pools.
Not even pools. Pools take over an hour.
That's a black card in the middle of your pool.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
Just not having it
That's
off
fair.
the rip.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah. So this is a first for us. This is our first collaboration with USA Fencing.
Yeah.
And we're really excited to do it here today in New York City at the New York Athletic Club, which was gracious enough to lend us the fencing gym here. We're pointed at the wrestling gym, but we wanted to just get some of the New York Athletic Club logo in the background, some of the text. But what's happening tonight? What brings you to New York? Let's start with that.
It's our US Fencing Foundation Gala, this time supporting our great collegiate athletic programs around the country, and the fund to build more, and indeed some of the funding to support our current athletic programs around the country. So it's our biggest gala, both financially and human-wise. We've got pretty much, not all, but a grand majority of NCAA coaches are upstairs right now. 2 wonderful NCAA athletes either side of me, so what a time.
Yeah.
I did see, just when I went up to grab you and trickling in and out of the basement, it's a good Notre Dame contingent.
Go Irish.
Go Irish.
I'm English, so I can't say that.
Oh, we respect it.
I'm not wearing any green, right? But I mean, it's a great program. I mean, Notre Dame is just a cornerstone of what we have collegiately, and it is a wonderful culture. A program has been up there. You can see the meaningful difference it makes to people's lives, what G has built and what Notre Dame has. So it's much as it's Irish, so I can't, as an Englishman originally, and of course proud American citizen too, but I can't bring myself to say go Irish. In fact, I own a shirt that I wear every St. Patrick's Day, which says 0% Irish.
That's pretty funny.
It's good to have the receipts.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have the DNA to prove it. They are our neighbors, and we love the Irish. But at the same time, Notre Dame is a cornerstone program. It's no surprise that we have a collegiate gala here, and there's a Notre Dame dynasty upstairs.
Yeah. So, you want to start us off, Stephen?
Well, I mean, just to jump into it, what year did you start as the CEO of US Fencing?
2022, so about 3.5 years.
Okay. So what has that experience been like? What do you feel the impacts have been? How has US Fencing inherently changed since you inherited this position of this sport? I guess back it up even further. Why become a leader within US Fencing of all places?
Yeah, how does a British ice hockey player end up leading USA Fencing?
That's my question.
I get fairly often. My sort of background is I worked on what's called the High Performance Training Center for the US Olympic and Paralympic team during the 2012 Olympics, my hometown Olympics in 2012. And then, I was in a lucky position because not many people get the opportunity to figure out, if I was in a retail shop, what would I cost? And most people, when they go to London, they bring back a little Big Ben. It's about yay high, and it costs about £5. So I figure I cost about £3.50, because it's the only rational reason that the USOPC and co decided to try and bring me back from the London Games. So after that, I ended up spending about 10 years. First of all, I was with a lot of NGBs, originally working on, interesting enough, a lot of the original safe sport stuff. And I wrote, I think, 14 separate safe sport policies back in 2012. Of course, that was way before what we today call the US Center for Safe Sport. And then ended up with weightlifting with some great opportunities because weightlifting was growing because of the sport of CrossFit. And so what we really did was harness the growth of that sport and took that sport from being around about 40th in the world, maybe 35th for the women's side, to being one of the very top programs in the world. A lot of that was the international relations side, dealing with the IWF, the International Weightlifting Federation. A lot of that was dealing with how we change and USA Weightlifting. And then after COVID and having run the IWF and USA Weightlifting at that time, I decided it was the right time to step away, and I got a few calls from people recruiting for USA Fencing. And it took a while, but I did say yes. And there was some challenges back in 22. We'd had a very challenging time during COVID. The sport was on a downturn, financially, membership-wise. We turned over a lot of staff during that time. There's some challenges, frankly, with our board level and the relationship between the board and the staff. There was some challenges with a sexual abuse case, which is famous in this sport. And I think they looked to me partly because I dealt with some of those challenging times in the past. And look, I'm grateful I came here. It's been a wonderful sport. I tried it when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah? Which weapon did you fence?
I'm on a podcast that's delivered by Epeus, so I'd like to plead the Fifth Amendment as a parachute. It was Saber. Which a lot of people who are in fencing are like, that makes sense for you. I was a hockey goalie, and I'm like, yeah, those two are the same thing in terms of the personality type, So so that's why fencing is. There were some opportunities to really grow the sport, and I think, we got it stabilized. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Is there things we could do better? Absolutely. Are there things we want to hear feedback from athletes, members, coaches, collegiate programs, sponsors, donors, you name it? 100%. But I think better place. I'd like to think so. But that's the history of how I came here and how I ended up being. It's a sport I've always liked. And it was funny because I got here and people said, you went to a smaller sport than weightlifting. I'm like, actually, I didn't. It's a bigger sport than weightlifting. And that's actually part of the problem. Fencing is not well enough respected in the circles that it should be. I think that's something that we're hoping to change between now. I think we've started to change it, and I think it's something we're hoping to change between now and 2028. And podcasts like this help us with that. Getting more content, more of the personalities, more the intelligence and achievement and art and cerebralness of fencing out there, just like the two of you do and the guests that you bring on, it actually really helps with that goal.
Ooh, what a sensation, gliding through actions in soft syncopation. Oh, yeah, it's direct elimination.
You ever notice your club runs on like 4 group chats, a Google Sheet, and Vibes? Schedules in one place, payments in another, and nobody knows when the next tournament is. Fencer puts all of it in one app, built for fencing, not borrowed from a yoga studio. And it's free. So here's what you do. Tell your coach you don't want to go to a fencing club. You want to go to a Fencer club.
Locked in on the path of pure determination.
You're welcome.
No, seriously, I've told you that before, but on the podcast.
Yeah,
I haven't told you
appreciate
that
it.
before.
So let's just go off of that.
Yeah.
What are some of the steps that you and the staff and the team at USA Fencing is taking to popularize this sport outside of participating in this podcast, supporting today's set of episodes that we're recording, as well as openly supporting stuff like the World Fencing League? But internally, what type of actions do you think that U.S. Fencing what type of actions has U.S. Fencing taken or is planning to take between now and L.A. to popularize the sport more?
Yeah, look, let me start with, if people have ideas on how they want to see the sport grow, let's hear them.
Oh, yeah.
And that's better than that, let's go do them where they're possible. So let's start there. And if you want to reach out to me, peterandrews@usafencing.org. So look, it is, and I mean that genuinely, but we've got a few things. So I think unexpectedly, the biggest impact that we've had in terms of people going from this one thing, maybe go to the front door of a fencing club, is the iHeartMedia deal. So we did a deal with iHeartMedia, one that's adjacent with Cumulus Media, sometimes known as Westwood One, which is basically fencing advertisements. Go try fencing. I see a lot of our role as, how do we get people to the front door of a fencing club and have them try fencing? Period.
Is that behind the radio ad? Okay.
There's a radio
I didn't know
ad?
that was the iHeartMedia deal. That makes sense. Yeah, there's a radio ad that goes around. Thomas Murray is the first person that told me about it.
Oh, yeah.
Where he just heard on the radio an ad for fencing. Yep. So that's us via an iHeartMedia deal.
That's correct. So
that's really cool.
That's why the SJCC series, the Super Junior and Cadet Circuit, is actually named the iHeartMedia.
Okay, got it.
And actually, that's now Soap Opera Skeleton have got a title sponsorship on their recruitment series. They did a deal with US Ski Snowboard, and we're delighted to have.
That's really cool. So do we have metrics on how many people, because that's something that's hard to track, but do we have a rough estimate of the impact of that deal?
We do. So there's a few things we have. We've really made an effort to get the data better on our tri-fencing page. So now we're capturing people's data so we can connect them with the nearest club to their house, and also, frankly, market to them about becoming a fencer. Not necessarily becoming a member, becoming a fencer. It starts with walking into the club. It doesn't start with going necessarily to USA Fencing and becoming a member. Right. The first spot you go into is, Tim Morehouse Fencing or Denver Fencing Center or Los Angeles International Fencing Center, wherever it might be. And the 800 clubs roughly across the country, that's where fencing starts. And that's the goal of that and many other campaigns. If you think about the way that adverts worked, both that one and the one we do with Westwood One, it's all about awareness. It's a little bit about respect for the sport, but we were actually the 9th most mentioned brand on US radio during December of last year. The only sport ever to have achieved that.
Let's go.
We were just behind is one of the major pharmaceutical companies. We're doing a lot more. So we did the Westwood One deal, which surrounds the NFL coverage. Turns out that Ryan, one of their commentators, is a former Bronco, Denver Bronco. His son tried fencing. So he actually was in the commentary going, it's the best way to get into the Ivy Leagues. We reached out to him. Sure enough, he went and tried para fencing with Jatea Taylor down in Denver. Mm-hmm. That was broadcast on 9 News, or NBC affiliate in Denver. We did the CNBC show, which is monthly. Next year, we'll move to weekly. And that's allowed us to put the personalities of fencers and the fencing, obviously, in front of a lot more people. We've done a lot of creative challenges with certain creators. I don't know who was involved in some of those that were filmed today. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, we just filmed with the Gardiner brothers.
You did?
They were quite awesome.
Yeah.
There's no better word to describe them but awesome. I mean, just very open to our sport. What did you think?
They were really just cool guys to hang out with. Very, very nice guys. Tall. So tall.
Significantly taller than
them to be that tall.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I've only spoken to them on Zoom and on the phone.
On Zoom, they looked like,
average
height. Gigantic people.
And incredibly coordinated for their size.
Right.
They're watching them Irish dance was mesmerizing. And I can't...
Mesmerizing is the right word for it. I couldn't look away.
Call me judgmental or ignorant or something, but as impressive as it was by watching their videos, I will say seeing it with my own two eyes right in front of me and hearing it and that synchronization of the auditory and visual stimuli we were receiving was mesmerizing. It was so cool.
That's really, really cool to hear. And the point of that is to get, yes, there's an Irish dancing, Notre Dame Irish crossover. That was sort of the idea I had of bringing those two things together. But the idea is bringing more eyeballs to our sport.
I wore a Notre Dame shirt. So
I debated wearing a Notre Dame shirt.
You wore a New York Athletic Club.
Yeah.
That's good too. That's
okay.
Too.
Yeah, you should do.
Yeah.
And it's, and the idea of something like the Gardiner brothers, and we've got, for example, Dolph Lundgren's going to be fencing, one of our Olympians in Los Angeles in a month. We had Jenson Button, his F1 world champion, out along with his wife, Brittany, a month ago. We're doing a lot of these. And what's been great is that a lot of these folks are like, fencing? Absolutely. In a way that I don't think other sports can. And, to me, it's the most cinematic sport in the world. I mean, you heard last night we had a great event at the Museum of Chinese in America, another example of how can we reach another community?
With Maya and Alexander, right?
Exactly, and Andy Ma from UPenn.
Oh, yeah.
And it was moderated by Richard Lau from MSN Now or an NBC stations. So a really great panel. And another way, we can reach the Mocha community through this. And then suddenly they may be inspired by Maya's story or Andrew's story. And we get another set of folks who might then, if one person from that shows up at a fencing club, that's success.
That's a conversion, yeah.
That's the point. I mean, it's not going to be everybody. So, take the Gardiner brothers, they have millions of followers. If 4 or 5 people from that go, that looked cool, I want to go and try some fencing, that is success.
Yeah.
But it's also about people seeing fencing outside of just the Olympic Games. People don't realize how hard an athlete works in fencing. When you have, especially an athlete who's in college, especially an athlete who might be a cadet, a junior, and a senior, my word, you've got NACs, you've got potentially regionals, you've got all the training you might have to do. A lot of people doing great careers sometimes. And then, by the way, you've got all these World Cups all around the world that you've got to hop on a plane from, and then you jump on. You just got back from France?
Switzerland.
I apologize.
No. We barely know either.
At this point. Switzerland, Colombia, Hong Kong.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just a plane ride away.
Exactly. So it's you're burning jet fuel, and and I apologize for that mistake, but it's
okay.
you guys. That's kind of my point. If you're in Switzerland 1 week, 3 weeks
Women's epee
before,
was in France, so it's
that's what I was thinking.
Epee was in
Okay,
France
you
last
saved
weekend.
me.
Hadley actually just got a silver medal.
Yeah, exactly. Hadley's amazing, and so it's so you guys just got back from Switzerland. They just got back from France. There'll be epee is here who've been in both of those, and you guys are more awake than I would be getting back from those locations. And it's part of being a fencer and how hard you guys work. And part of it is, how do we bring more eyeballs to that, get more people to the front door of fencing clubs? I love what Miles has pulled together and similar projects that are designed to bring more people to the sport. What we can learn best from what Miles did is technology, and making the sport more understandable to people is a really interesting thing to people's eyeballs. Miles obviously has a unique presence, but he's worked hard to build that presence himself, and congratulations to him. Yes, there's the World Fencing League, but we're trying to emulate that, not in a way of copying it, actually in a way of complementing it, of, okay, they're opening some doors, great, let's open other doors over here. We're building an ambassador council towards the Olympic Games, trying to bring together people who care about the sport in Hollywood, who have a presence, who can help our sport grow between now and 28, help us stand out in Los Angeles 2028. And again, what is the point? The point is bring more, there's a few. One of them is to bring more fencers to the front door of fencing clubs and grow this sport. Two is to grow opportunities for our athletes, quite frankly, look, our athletes, we have these awesome humans who also are incredibly intelligent, incredibly well achieved outside of the sport. Lee Kiefer is an obvious example of this.
Gold standard right there.
That is triple gold standard.
Yeah, that is the goldest of standards that we got.
That's kind of my point. And then so, we have more than just Lee, but Lee's an obvious and easy person. And it's not just Lee's intelligent. It's not just she's one of the very best athletes and fencers on the planet. She is a great human as well. And I think that's the thing that I want to bring out through all these media activations that we're doing, is the personalities and the interests and the humanity of our fencing community.
You're preaching to the choir. That's why this exists, right?
That's my point.
This is hand in hand with what direct elimination stands for, uplifting the sport via the shared passion and unique, diversity that exists within our sport.
100%.
It's beautiful.
There's content, there's activations. We're going to KCON, the Korean festival in LA.
Cool. That's cool.
We're potentially working on a K-pop versus fencing activation in LA, which I think would be fun.
That would be super
We're
awesome.
doing
We'll fly out for that any day, Phil.
100%.
That'd be really fun.
We will directly eliminate the people in the front row and put you guys in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're working on creator showdowns of 16 million followers total right here in New York City with 16 fencers. Again, another way we can bring fencing into these populations where there's a matchup with our audience, but people haven't seen or experienced fencing. And part of it is, I think people are scared to fence. Like, people, who hasn't been out with 2 sticks in their backyard when you were 4 years old? You guys have heard this a million times.
Yeah. Some of us never stop.
That's my point. Yeah, but also, when you look at a fence, you're like, oh, there's a lot of equipment. That's kind of scary. The reality is, you walk into a fencing club with a good coach, you can be in fencing gear and stabbing a friend in 10 minutes.
We did it in 12 today, actually, with the Gardiner brothers.
Why were you so slow?
I know. Stephen was a great coach. His coaching
efficient.
took Matthew Gardiner to a victorious triumphant
5-3
win against Michael Gardiner, my student.
Wow.
But it took us 12 minutes from start to finish, and they fenced. And they had a wonderful time. And obviously...
Did he get a coaching medal?
No, it's in the mail.
Yeah, it's coming in the mail. But
Still the way from Ireland too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to echo that point, really, it doesn't take that much, and people could be having loads of fun really quickly. Yes. And that just, right there, I think their interest was piqued.
Yeah.
That's a story I've heard a ton of times. The other thing we've experienced is that I've gone out and tried to find people to help us grow fencing. You start talking to people. I talked to a media company this morning who's going to help us expose fencing more. They're in the Asian American community. Sure enough, oh yes, one of my best friends was a saber fencer. And that connectivity, and it's all about that. It's interesting about the connectivity piece. That is critical. And the reason it's critical is this. The Olympic Games and Paralympic Games of 2024, world-class, amazing Olympic Games, Grand Palais in Paris, great results for Team USA, biggest Paralympic team ever, obviously all the success in foil, actually drove less people to our Try Fencing page than either of our two so far, we're in the third right now, iHeartMedia campaigns.
Wow.
Which shocked me.
That shocked me because of
That's the most, what we think
it was
of.
just
We
the
don't have
most
data.
beautiful fencing event ever, and it got a lot of visibility within the Olympics.
We were the sixth most, in earned media, we ranked sixth. So our goal was 8th, we got 6th, and we were 12th in Tokyo.
Wow.
So to your point, it was good. It's the connectivity about go and try fencing, go and find a club. And what we don't know about those people who went to our website and searched for a club is how many people drive past in Des Moines, Iowa, or Denver, Colorado, or Los Angeles, California, a fencing club on their commute. And part of it is, and it's marketing 101, you need repeated experiences. But at the same time, what we don't know is how many people from that or any of these things. Like, you know what? I drive past a fencing club 4 times a day. Why don't I go in and try this, or take my son or my daughter to try it? Actually, we had a piece in Variety this morning. It was written by the editor-in-chief herself, who has promised to follow fencing all the way through to the Olympic Games, which is, that's a rarity in that level of paper as it is, which is great. And she came to me a week ago when I saw her, and she goes, now I've been talking about fencing so much, I see fencing everywhere. I said, that's the algorithm. And she said, no, I mean in person. And then named off
That's the universe.
fencing clubs in Los Angeles. Yes, exactly.
That's
I was
awesome.
That's the human algorithm that's taken over for you.
Yeah.
It's what glasses are you wearing?
That's awesome.
It's routing her to the nearest club. Got to get her, just need to get her in the door now.
And that's part of it. Is let's have more people know about fencing. And look, that serves our clubs. It serves our NCAA programs. In adding all these new programs, we've got to keep the pipeline strong. Nothing's more embarrassing than adding, for example, Trinity College will announce later on this evening, starting a women's program this coming year, and then a men's program the year after. Great college, NESCAC, selective, perfect for fencing. Nothing would be more embarrassing than the trust of their board of trustees, their president, their CFO, their vice president of enrollment, and ultimately their athletic director, Gavin, in our sport, and it fails. We can't afford for that. So we have to make sure there's enough fences across men's and women's epee, men's and women's saber, men's and women's foil, and yes, Paralympic as well, to make sure that those programs remain strong. It's critical if we're going to continue this upward trajectory we've had in the NCAA space that people aren't having. And then similarly, hopefully we're going to have HBCU, historically Black College and University, join our community later on this year. If that happens, the thing we have to focus on then is making sure that we are reaching out to our African American community and doing the work that Peter Westbrook pioneered all those years ago, and making sure that there is a space for them in this community. And not only that, they can thrive and provide a great pipeline for a Howard University or a Morgan State or Florida A&M or an NCAA, wherever it is. So all of these things fit together in a way. The more people in, the better funding we can give to our athletes. We used to have our top 4 funded. Now we're getting as far down as the top 6, and then in some weapons, the top 8. That's where we want to be, perhaps a little bit more, to be honest. It's when I was in weightlifting, we paid a great stipend to our top athletes. and we funded essentially our top 10 in each gender, but we didn't have snatch and clean and jerk as separate entities.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the difference in fencing. We are actually a lot bigger.
Yeah, because you do fund a lot if you think about it.
Yeah.
Across all of the weapons, like if you just say they're all fencers, then a crap ton of people are funded.
It is. We actually fund more athletes than the grand majority of national governing bodies. I think I'm correct in saying.
I mean, 24 athletes fully funded for just the like able-bodied fencing for all the World Cups. I don't know if Para has any.
Para for the very first time this season had funding.
That's close to 30 athletes getting funded.
Very few are doing that. Yeah.
That's a lot of people. You know, obviously we want more epee funding, but that is bias galore.
You know, I have a very simple solution to everyone's problems, and it's simply win more bouts.
You heard the mission, fencers. Win more bouts.
Win more
Win more bouts. And I'm sure that you weren't trying to do that already. That is the simple solution to everybody's problems in fencing. Win more bouts. You know, I don't know if anyone's had that philosophy before.
Yeah, crazy philosophy
try it.
there. Yeah, I'll try it. I'll tune in, see how that goes over this next season.
I mean, let's be fair. We are winning a lot more than we were 10 or 15 years ago.
We're every year.
Yeah, I mean, look, the results that we look at today in fencing across senior, junior, cadet, and sometimes we come away from a weekend going, that was a little bit disappointing as an overall weekend.
Overall head count, yeah.
And
Or medal count.
What a privilege.
Right. And exactly. 10, 15 years ago, you'd be killing for those results.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's, you know, and the same thing's true in junior and cadet to some extent. We're now struggling, especially in foil, we're struggling for competition. I mean,
Even in epee, we win in women's and men's epee at the cadet level. They're winning every single international competition. We're sweeping them.
Even 10 years ago when we were
Yeah.
in 10 plus, like
I'm 10 plus.
unheard of, right? It was absolutely unheard of to have these kinds of results.
That's right.
So,
And so now we're looking at this wonderful problem of how do we go and find better competition for our cadet and to an extent our junior. Frankly, yeah, you're correct. Epee, foil, and saber. It's most acute in foil where we show up and people are going, okay, great, we're battling for second.
Yeah.
So it's in some cases where we're sending more than one team to cadet events, especially in Europe. Sometimes people are going, okay, great, we're contesting third. So, you know, it's and that is a credit to, you know, yes, we are the centralized place, but let's be clear, the athletes and the coaches around the country are the people doing that work. We're there to put systems in place as best we can to serve as many of those folks as we can, not forgetting veteran as part of that as well, not forgetting recreational athletes, D2, D3. That's an important part of what we do as well. I want to see more fencing fans, which creates opportunities for athletes in terms of when they go into the Olympics. When brands are investing in the Olympic Games, I want them looking at fencers and going, we have to put a fencer on our roster because X, Y, Z. That helps us because then the adverts that are running on NBC and USA Network and CNBC and so forth during the Olympic Games, guess what? They feature a Nick Etkin. They feature an Alexander Macialis. They feature a Lee Kiefer. They feature an Ori Simmons.
No, that's amazing. And unfortunately, I think we've taken up.
Yeah,
as
we're
much
taking
of
a lot of your
as
time.
I-
No, this is great. This is what we wanted.
This is exactly what we've wanted. And you know, I was thinking beforehand about the impact that has been felt in the U.S. fencing community since you've taken your office, and hearing you speak about the opportunities that are now available and all the work that has been done to increase the visibility of the sport. Hearing it laid out like that and thinking about before and after, it's absolutely night and day. And I believe that this organization is on an incredible path for growth. And thank you so much to you and to everybody in the NGB that is U.S. fencing, including Ari, who's our athlete representative.
And chair of the athlete council, too.
And chair of the athlete council.
No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you for all the work that you do.
Ari, too.
That is Mr. Ari.
I believe he prefers my lord.
I got some different names for him when the cameras aren't rolling.
okay.
Stephen keeps me humble. Let's just say that.
So only I have to choose my lord? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
Okay, got it.
Exactly. No, but really, you know, being CEO of a large organization, you have a lot of eyes on you and you have a lot of scrutiny on the decisions you make.
Yeah, and not every one of them's right.
The point being, it's just follow through. We appreciate the fact that you're following through, and the only way you can judge a plan or an idea is by looking back at it, not by stopping halfway through. And I think that this is all really great. Like the numbers and the growth that we've already shown, and hopefully the projected stuff that we're seeing in the future. I mean, we love fencing. Right. So we love seeing and hearing these initiatives as they come to life. But we do have one little bit left for you. So I know you're not technically a fencer, but you know quite a bit about fencing at this point. Enough to know how hard it is to put on a single light. Okay. It requires decisiveness, commitment, effort, intensity, and most importantly, not doubting yourself. So the final segment of our show is called One Light Answers.
Oh, Jesus.
And essentially, we're just going to ask you a couple questions that might be a little goofier for you, but you can answer quite a bit of them since you are deeply involved with fencing. And my one piece of advice to you is just don't doubt yourself. Whatever comes to your mind, spit it out.
Let me come back to the stuff you just said. It doesn't happen without communication. That's the biggest thing that people should take away. Communicate with us. I gave my email earlier. I meant it. Reach out. Let's have a conversation. Ideas. Look, I like to think that I am a relatively smart human being. I like being the dumbest human in the room. Great news in fencing is I'm usually the dumbest person in the room. So, like,
us too.
We're about to find out, Phil.
Like, I think that's the problem. I think we are about to find out. But the serious thing is, like, to all of the listeners to this podcast and all the our members, the biggest thing is communication. Reach out, and I hope you've seen that from us. Of we want to listen, and you'll get one or two things from me. One is a straight answer, or two is the reason we can't do that. But you will get a straight answer.
Appreciate it. Take it away, Stephen.
2 favorite fencers of all time.
You can't do that to the CEO of a national governing.
We ask everybody this question.
We don't discriminate.
We don't discriminate.
All right. I can't go with US.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I'm the CEO of USA Fencing. Career.
Very beautiful. Amazing.
For sure.
Fencing.
I love watching his fencing. I'm mesmerized every time.
Right.
I like his personality as well. Yuki Oda.
There we go.
Those were two very good answers.
Excellent
If you
answers.
had to not choose anyone from US Fencing, I love those answers.
Those are 2 correct answers.
Yeah.
Oh, correct? Okay, good.
Yeah. What's your favorite city or place you've gone for fencing?
Let's see here. Wherever, Paris. No question. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
All American foil final, beating Italy in the final of women's foil, Nick Hickins bronze. Like, okay, yes, that's all foil, but like
No,
if fencing in the Grand
it's
Palais,
fencing.
come on. Like there's no question Paris. And also it was France for fencing in the Olympic Games. So come on, there's nothing better.
I love that.
Thinking back to your goalie days, what was in your equipment bag that probably shouldn't have been?
I like to play the Fifth Amendment.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
All right.
I was a youth hockey player in England.
All right.
Still like to plead the Fifth.
So not a gun.
On the USA Fencing staff, in an epee bout, who do you think you have the best chance of beating right now?
Okay, so this we've actually done several times.
So let us know. Who is
We
it?
actually know the answer to this. So Brian Wendell has got a ridiculous reach. He's hideously tall, so I can't beat him. Beth Ma, who runs our Paralympic program, is one person who is not afraid to stab the CEO.
All right. So who are you beating?
So here's the problem. Most of our folks didn't really want to stab the CEO hard. And so I was like, I get it, but this is the point of the sport.
event, yeah.
Exactly. So I've done fairly well against most of our folks. Obviously, Jen, who is a former foilist from FDU, I wasn't beating her in a million years. Kat Bokamp, Paralympian, I wasn't beating her in a million years when she was with us. Let's see, who did I beat? I think pretty sure I beat Brad.
All right.
I'm going to pick
Take
Brad
that,
Soholski.
Take that, Brad.
Brad, you're going down.
All right.
Brad's from Wisconsin, so, you guys are from Notre Dame. I think we can give Wisconsin some stuff.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close
Yeah.
enough for beef.
Yeah, we can cause that some problems here. Okay.
And for our final question, another one you're going to have a fun time answering. What is your favorite piece of Prieur equipment?
Well, we're sponsored by Absolute, so this one's made by Absolute Fencing.
Hey, well, you know
That's a
what?
good answer.
You sound just like
You
every
sound like
other
the rest of
absolute
the Absolute
fencers
reps.
we've had on this podcast.
Gary, who's upstairs, I've got to go up and shake hands with him in just a minute.
I will too.
I will tell you, the Prieur guys have been always exceptionally friendly to us, except for the two sitting next to me. But the Prieur folks have always been amazing to us, even in Paris, where we candidly couldn't quite get some stuff in from Absolute in time from the United States. Prieur were there to help us from the French side. So I have to say they're a great manufacturer. We are very loyal and so much appreciate Absolute. But Prieur is a great friend of USA Fencing and great people involved.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time and for chatting through strategy with us and the efforts that are going on. And thank you again for all your work. I do have a pitch for you, and we're on the elevator on the way back up for how we can
It's an elevator pitch?
It's an elevator
it
pitch
is?
for how we can really take this sport to the next level.
Oh, yeah?
The fans know this one.
The fans know this one, and Steven, definitely, you're going to appreciate this. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, let's just hope that we don't butcher the audio and video from this really impromptu podcast.
Yeah.
And regardless, we'd like to have you back in a more
anytime.
official studio.
Anytime.
But thank you so much for enabling this USA Fencing Direct Elimination collab, and first of many.
And I have been eliminated.
Thanks, Phil.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you
Really
so
appreciate
much.
all you do
Really
for the sport.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yo, Ari, check out this new blade I just made. Well, it's no coincidence the only piece I'm left holding was the only one on that blade made by Prieur. Better quality. ShopPrieurUSA.com. So, Ari, I've been hearing about this fencer thing being specifically for fencing, but what does specialized software even mean? Software is just software.
No, Stephen, you don't understand. Fencing clubs have competitions, lessons, practices, multiple coaches, multiple locations, different weapons. Most tools don't understand any of that, but Fencer was built with all of that in mind.
So it's not just stuffing fencing into a tool meant for hair salons?
Exactly. It's one hub made specifically for fencing clubs to run on. No cost. It's totally free. Tell your coach you don't want to go to a fencing club. You want to go to a fencer club.